Good evening and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the SRA Grid Report. I'm Josh, and with me, as always, is Bailey. How we doing back in town from being overseas for about a week now?
Yes, sir. I got back 2 days ago, so just kind of reeling back in the real life. So, and what better way to start than the pod?
Hey, there's one way to catch back up on all the racing. I think you said you were trying to get some watch backs in, but I mean, with that kind of flight and all the time differences, I don't really blame you if you're a little behind.
Yeah, had 8 hours to kill on the flight, so was able to catch up a bit and watch some of the races as I was not able to participate this week. But all is well.
All is well, and that's great to hear. So we're gonna we're gonna start things off by going over Oulton and everything that was, even though I think we all knew from the beginning that was just gonna be a pain race. And then we're gonna look ahead to another pain race, Bathurst, because if we can't get it once, let's get it again. Jeddah was pretty entertaining for Formula One. I mean, surprising I'm gonna say didn't get a safety car, and we can talk about that later. Australia coming up this weekend, and we got three massive SRA events coming up in quick succession here that we're definitely going to touch on before we end the episode. But let's step back and look at that crazy track that was Oulton Park. Uh, that, I mean, I think the best place to start is the Ferrari Exodus. Division 1 saw none of their Ferraris show up. Division 4, I think, saw two show up and only one finish. Um, they all just said, yeah, no, this is not the track for me.
Yeah, and that was the same situation last week with where were we last week?
We were at
Um,
Zolder.
Zolder, yes, Zolder. Same situation. All the Ferrari guys just struggling the last 2 weeks. I'm sure it's been more than just the last 2 weeks, but definitely highlighting the last 2 weeks. Ferraris have not been wanting to show up, and yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, they're definitely tracks that have not been friends to that car. It's like the other mid-engine cars, really demands a stable platform, and the bumps at Oulton do not even give it the opportunity to start hooking up, let alone lose the grip that it has.
Yeah,
Uh, and then you throw in things like that first chicane where everybody's optimum line is jumping the curb, and the Ferrari would probably just scream at you for even trying it. Enzo would get out of his grave and smack you with a wet spaghetti noodle.
oh,
But overall, this track was way too narrow. There was no room for overtaking. Those ideal lines that took everybody over the curbs, everybody was complaining of pressure losses throughout all the divisions.
yeah,
Um, I think it was Matt Lehman was saying that at the end of the D1 race, his rear tires were at like 25 psi
yeah,
from jumping the curbs.
yeah. I did listen to some of the interviews after. I did talk to some of the guys at Ghost Rider as well. A lot of people were dealing with either slow punctures or just PSI is not right. But there was definitely a lot of slow punctures. Some got them early on in the race. Some got them later. So yeah, this I think was by far the most I've heard about punctures in a very long time. I think Snetterton last season was another situation like that, but not as bad as what Oulton Park sounded out to be.
Definitely. Yeah, it's really something you don't think about until you're pushing like crazy. I mean, you're chasing somebody down and then all of a sudden you get that slow puncture and then
Hmm.
you take that moment to reanalyze your lap and it's just like I am abusing the heck out of my wheels everywhere on this racetrack and it can
Yeah,
really mess with your ability to go forwards, like really make you curb down your line. So it was interesting to see how everybody managed these difficulties across the divisions. But overall, I want to say from a broadcasting perspective, not a very eventful week in racing. So why
I
don't we
can
start?
agree to that.
Couldn't agree to that.
No, I can agree to that.
Okay, okay.
After watching back some races.
So why don't we start by going through some of these podiums? Let's go over to Division 6. Qualifying saw Mike Dyer take pole position with the NSX with the 33.9, Steve MZ in second place with the Aston with a 34.3, and Doug Sonner also in the Aston with a 34.9. And it's one thing that people were commenting on a lot with Oulton is the odd dominance of the Aston, a track that's tight and needs you to be very, very nimble. The Astons were all over the road.
Yeah. Could be that they're good around curbs and that it's extremely wide. So being able to overtake it was probably a tough situation. So if you had pace, you were set up pretty well. All you had to do is see the end of the race, whether you had a puncture or not.
Yeah, just do a little park it in the middle of the road kind of deal, and
Exactly.
nobody's getting past that thing.
Exactly.
In the race, Mike held on to the win to go from flag to flag. Edelerny Lere took second place in the Audi, and Steve MZ held on to a third place finish in the Aston Martin. A solid, solid race from the two at the top. Great from Edelerny to jump themselves up onto the podium position. Just moving myself over to look at the standings right now. Mike is holding on to second place currently in the D6 standings with 457 points. He's got about 30 points gap to Doug Sonner behind him, and they're pretty free from fourth place, but still has some work to do to catch up to Curtis Adams' Porsche in first position. So, with two races left, it'll be interesting to see how D6 starts to shape themselves out. Team standings are still pretty tight. MD Motorsports sits in first place at 702 points. Baseline Racing Boogie Beetles at 649, and Madhouse Racing OTT at 572. Which they've got a team right on their tail, and two teams right on their tail. I mean, yeah, it's still pretty close in Division 6. Nothing like what we saw last season where we had a 500-point gap in one division for team standings with 4 races left to go.
Yeah, and I'm not even thinking about it that we are approaching the penultimate race of the season. That you don't these people up here in the top three, top five are really hunting down those crucial points to get them to the top spot there, or even drivers are chasing points here. So with the last two races coming in, especially with Bathurst being one of them, and two Wet Night Silverstone, going to be extremely crucial. And um, whoever puts in the practice these next 2 weeks, I think is definitely going to show on the leaderboard and on the streams.
Completely agree. And stepping back to things we talked about at the start of this season, forecasting that this is going to be one of the most competitive seasons at SRA has shown its worth all season long, and showing that the standings are still right there. Like, if we went through the driver standings, I think anybody within like 10 or 15 positions of most divisions could take a win and jump themselves up to the top 5 in terms of points. Like, it's within 110 points splitting those positions is what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah,
it's very, very competitive out here.
yeah, and a lot of the times, speaking from previous uh, history, shall we say, I'm not sure if you've been in the same boat, but I've being this far into the season and being this close to the top, everybody's so invested and you don't want to make any mistakes. So, I mean, we're gonna see if we haven't yet, we're gonna see a lot of people. As we were talking about earlier, the weekend sprints and stuff, we're gonna see full. We're gonna see people in servers. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be sweatier than the last 6 weeks have been. I feel.
definitely. I think you hit the nail right on the head there. People are just starting to turn that dial up to 11. They're getting close to fighting for championships, whether it's gold, whether it's silver. I mean, the website points that I was referencing is the overall for the division, so I don't have that gold silver split, but yeah, I'm assuming those races are even tighter. And yeah, these weekend sprint series races that we're doing, the Sunday events are usually on the track that's coming up. Saturday is just kind of an extra track to have some fun. So
Hmm.
tonight being Sunday, those races are going to be full. Like, we had, I just did the 7 o'clock race before recording this, and we had, I think, like 15, 16 people in there. So good split, and everybody's trying to get that extra pace in, that oomph, whatever they can
Yeah.
find.
Yeah, and it's division wide. It's going to be everybody.
Exactly. Division wide rhymes with our next location, Division 5.
Oh,
Qualifying sees Doug 2 Electric Boogaloo Lane Yates take pole position with a 133.6. Rodney Felker takes second place with a 34.6 as well, split by, oh lord, what is that? 7 thousandths of a second?
yes,
And
sir.
Sean Daniels in third with a 35 flat in the Porsche. Just right on the nose. In the race, though, Rodney pulled himself up to take first place. Sean jumped up to second place, and Doug let it fall apart again and fell to third. Uh, I still don't completely understand that inside joke. I know it surrounds when the track reveals were going on, but people thought
Yeah,
Lane was the second account of Doug, and
yeah.
I'm just rolling with it.
It's funny. It's funny. Yeah, Lane Yates. The situation with Lane Yates might be the most, I believe, famous person in SRA at the moment. Was everybody was This was right after the hint came out about the first track of this season, and a lot of assumptions came out because there was a name of Lane Yates that did some hot stints at, I believe it was Oulton Park. So not ironic to see him at the top here.
No,
Uh, Kind of a weird coincidence, but yeah, people were wondering if that was it because of that reason. So
yeah, just getting that insider knowledge and getting some
yeah,
early practice, but that was so much fun. I mean,
it was
people
so
just
funny.
ran with that the tinfoil hat factory.
Yeah, yeah, so funny.
Oh man. But yeah, Division 5, unfortunately, yeah, we're not able to do the broadcasts anymore. We're committing to solidifying that D1 through 4. But from what I'm seeing in that Division 5 chat, everybody was proud of themselves for just surviving, as Oulton Park really does that to you, and you don't get a week of break with Bathurst coming up next. Division 4. Cody Platt taking pole position for Champion Motorsports, just fueling Paul A's ego some more with a 33.6. Corey Davis taking second place with a 33.7, and Ethan Marvin taking third place with a 33.737, sitting only 15 thousandths behind Corey. But that proved not to matter as Corey brought himself up to the front to take the win in Division 4. Jacob took second place, Jacob Zitko that is, and Clark Gold brought himself up to third, but due to some post-race analysis and intervening of the stewards, Clark received a 10-second penalty, and that is promoting the Porsche of Pat Cockcroft into third place for that race. It was kind of eventful from the front, but for the most part, as we saw through the other divisional races, it was little groups being tight, people following close, and then someone makes an error and a car slips through. But that's kind of the story of these tough races. You just kind of got to hang on to the back of somebody and wait for an error. It's better to
Hmm.
do that than try and force a move.
Yeah, or in Pat's case, hope that there's penalties in front of you and you get a podium.
Yeah, I guess hanging on to the back of somebody relies all the way back to 9.9 seconds.
Exactly. So whenever you think it's over, it's not over.
It is definitely not over. But oh, I just noticed that Clark falling off the podium eliminates the all Aston podium in Division 4.
Oh,
But yeah, all around a pretty interesting race to watch, but not the most eventful. It's a very eventful race to be a part of. Like when you're in the car for these, because it's just attrition, attrition, attrition.
hmm,
You're fighting the whole time. The moment you start to slip up, you're sweating because your tires just got hot, but then you have to sweat harder because now someone's directly on your bumper. Or you fight with somebody for half a lap, and your lap is now 2 seconds slower than the field because there's just not room.
yeah.
It it's an unrelenting fight.
Well, and another situation um, that has arisen with the extended pit window that we have committed to, 55 minutes, if those people don't remember. Say you go for the undercut and you catch up to the back of the pack, say you're up there in the top 5, top 10, you could be potentially lapping a second to 2 seconds quicker than those people. Uh, Not being able to pass is a real killer on that strategy. So that's really going to also change what everybody's doing beginning of the race, mid race, end of race. So we're going to see it again, I believe, this week as well at Bathurst.
That's
Um,
correct.
so those people who either did not get so lucky with that strategy may think twice about doing it again.
Definitely. And one change you actually did miss because you were away is we had a addendum to the blue flag rule going forwards, just due to some issues that we saw at Zolder. Typically at SRA, we've always been a little bit lenient, gone for a bridge between the F1 and GT3 style rules, where F1 you're required to yield immediately, and GT3 you required to respectfully yield if the car is going for an overtake, but you're not expected to like pull off to the side and let the
Mm-hmm.
car past. We are now invoking a if you're being blue flagged, you are expected to yield. No more one lap allowance. There were some there were some some drivers who were unfortunately, as put by some of our stewards, abusing the ability to make the decision on when to allow a car past. So things have changed, and it made for a little bit of hectic time at Oulton. But I think having that in place would have kept a lot more hectic incidents from happening.
Mm-hmm.
Just I can imagine trying to stick it out behind somebody for an entire lap who's slower than you. That'll cause like it'll back people into each other, cause aggressive people trying to go for overtakes on blue flags, and could have been a mess. But
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit of safeguard from everyone, and it'll prove beneficial if it's kept for Bathurst and for Silverstone as well, I think.
Yeah, and you talk about that, and um, I was just kind of glancing over the penalties earlier, and I felt like with how difficult this track is with overtaking and how impatience could lead to um, the end of several people's races, to only, for me, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like this week's penalty list seems to be a lot smaller than what we've had in the past several races. I mean,
I see that as well.
look, even looking at Division One, zero penalties were given out.
Not even any lap one autos.
Exactly.
So
S-
everyone put their big boy pants on this week.
Yeah, it only took 6 weeks, but we got
Well, just like a kid, unfortunately, they don't listen on the first try.
it. Or the
So
fifth.
yeah, but hey, we're all here to grow and learn together. So sometimes it's the big boys who need a stick waved in their face, and sometimes it's some of the other people who need sticks waved in their face. But at the end of the day, it makes the racing better. So
Exactly.
I just thought I'd fill you and the crowd in because things will look slightly different on the broadcast, and they'll be saying it differently as well. So educating the
Noted.
masses. Division number 3 sees Zach Dupuy take pole position in another Aston Martin with a 33.0, which I'm noticing 33.0, 33.9 was Division 6 pole, 33.6 was Division 5 pole, 33.6 was Division 4 pole. The times are all very close at the top end of these
Mm-hmm.
divisions. 33.4 for Andy Speed in second place, and a 33.65 for Matt Anastasi in third place. In the race, Zach held on to the lead, took the win. Matt Anastasi jumped up to second place, and Robbie Toddy came up to take third place for Armamentario Academy. Just pushing those conglomerates further and further forwards. But did you have the chance to watch Division 3?
I did, matter of fact. Zach Dupuy, I don't know if you have been able to see this, but his quali time and his race fastest lap time were 3/10 apart.
I did
Nope,
not.
that's completely false. That's completely false. It's 8/10. Sorry.
8/10.
Forget
Yeah.
what I just said.
Hey,
Let's forget about that.
that's
Let's
my
forget
move,
about that.
okay?
Yeah. But um instead, let me direct you. to the race final time.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Depuy finished almost 40 seconds ahead.
Yeah, he put in some work in that Aston Martin, and I think that's proved by the fact that his fastest lap was 1 second faster than Matt Anastasi's in second place.
Yeah,
33.8 versus a 34.7. Um, yeah, putting in work.
yeah, for sure. Um, just I was looking over the standings here, and Zach Depuy is currently holding first, but he's not ahead by a large margin. It's only 33 points. Um, but the team of Comic Racing, which is Samrek and Super Dave, are only 1 point ahead of Zach Dupuy and Aaron Anderson in the Start Your System Two Naked Cowboys racing team. So those four drivers will be doing everything they can the next 2 weeks here. There's a lot of Division Three drivers that I heard and talked to that had severe early um, slow punctures that were kind of having to deal with in the race. Um, I'm not sure about other divisions, but I definitely heard about Division Three the most.
Yeah, I did not come across that, but I mean, Division Three kind of makes sense. It's that border of where everybody's pushing super, super hard in that division. So I can
Hmm.
see everybody trying to go as fast as they can the whole time and just overworking those tires. But an early puncture will definitely spell doom for a track
Yeah,
like this.
for sure. But yeah, I mean, all around, I mean, Division Three this season has been cracked. So
Just a little bit.
yeah,
So yeah, keep your eyes out on those four drivers specifically because yeah, with 1 point separating them in team championship and not too far apart in the driver standings, it's going to be crazy for these last two races.
yes, for sure.
Division 2. Alex Chilcutt takes pole position. We called it a week in advance with a 32.6.
Good lord.
Your teammate Taylor Molyneux scared the heck out of everybody and took second place with a 33.147,
Oh god, he scared himself. He scared
tying
himself.
tying Michael Louie in third place with a 33.147 as well.
Yeah.
We were all very impressed with that lap. Taylor's been due for a solid performance.
Well, good. You go ahead with the race results first, and then I'll tell you. I'll chat.
Sounds good. I was going to say he unfortunately didn't have the best race results as you fell into some early issues, but the funny thing is
Oh,
if for those who don't know, if I've got it right, Chilcutt spun and hit the wall and still won.
oh my gosh.
So he called it the most poorly managed race he's ever won. So caps off to him for having some extra pace this week because I think he needed it. He
Yeah, I was gonna say he needed a cushion, apparently.
taking that big win with Michael Louis in second place. Once again, a 1 second difference between their fastest lap times, but only about a 5 second difference in finish time. And then Landon Drebes coming home in third place, pushing his way to the top of the D2 standings with a 34.1 as his fastest time. But that was a eventful race.
It
I
was very entertaining to watch. I'll tell you what.
I
Uh,
I hit the Dougie on the third lap, and I didn't
well,
hit the wall.
let me tell you what. Taylor drove straight into the wall on lap four,
Oh no!
just straight into it on turn four,
Oh my!
right before the hairpin. Just got in the grass, and once you're in the grass, there's no slowing down, and just
Yeah,
did didn't like it. So
yeah. You start
he
getting wide at turn four, and there's just no grip left.
no, there's not. So yeah, that's a only took him another 5 weeks to get a result. I was tired of carrying him. I took a week off for him, and this is what he does.
He teases you with an almost pole position.
Exactly. Well, would we say almost pole?
I would because Alex should be a D1 driver.
Yeah,
He's
I
proving
guess.
his worth as a bona fide Division One driver,
Yeah.
and like no one's gonna take the championship away from him. But yeah, I think Taylor should have been pole here.
Well, the funny thing was is he was in the quality or the practice serve before the before the race, and he was swinging around mid pack there, and all of a sudden quality comes out and he's he's there. He's P2, and uh him and Dan both said that they're like, what just happened? So even Taylor didn't know what was going on, but with him dying, that allowed Landon Dreebs to fill in the Ghost Rider Racing spot for the podium. So
Yeah, and that also brings Landon up to po- position number 4 in the driver standings to sit with John Archie, another Ghost Rider Racing driver, in second place. Got two of them up in the top 5. But Champion Motorsports does sit at the top of the team standings with 680 points to Ghost Rider Maple Bandits 663. So still a very tight fight left in D2. Missed Apex Racing Audi 648, Champion Motorsports Aperture 646, Ghost Rider Last to First 536. So fifth place to fourth place is the first real gap, but that's still 8 drivers that are going to be extremely hungry in these last 2 races.
yeah, and I think if Alex gets some help from Paule, they might be a little dangerous. But hope he's listening to this.
Yeah, so
Paule getting a little carried at the moment.
yeah, just he tried to prove his worth this week and then drove himself off the track at turn 1. Just
On to the first lap.
yeah, just like pooed his pants a little bit. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't blame him. I was in the same chat as I believe it was Kevin Kovac who was in front of him, and
Mm-hmm.
the car in front of him broke early, spooked Kevin. He broke early, and he's just like, "Oh, Paul definitely just didn't react or couldn't
Paule
react."
just went left.
Yeah, he did the
On
old Doc Hudson turn left to go right and forgot to
yeah.
turn right first.
Oh man, it's all banter.
Oh, 100%.
It's all banter,
Paulie's a
Paule.
great guy. I love him. But he does find himself currently in 31st in the standings at 140 points. But then again, like he's I don't know, a midfield finish is what would you say, 20 to 30 points?
Depends where we would say that a midfield starts.
Well, hold on, let me check something. Points reference. 30 points. 31 points is 22nd. I think I could confidently say Paulie's a 22nd or better driver.
I would say so.
And 31 points brings him almost up to 26th position. So fighting is still pretty tight in the sub 15th position area of Division 2, even
Yeah,
up to about 13th. It's tight. One
it's
good finish
capable.
could shuffle that whole area.
Yeah, it's all up for grabs everywhere.
You know what's not up for grabs? Wins in Division 1. Ryan
Yeah,
Yee
yeah.
takes pole position with a 32.392. Jeff Spangler putting the Honda to work alongside him with a 32.6, and Nate Spetch trying to do something for Champion Motorsports with a 32.7 in third place. Ryan went flag to flag, takes the win again. You know, I mean, we almost don't need to go over the D1 standings at this point.
It's the same thing every week.
Travis Nordstrom takes second place. Nice to see him have a better result than the practice race, as his car was nose down and teleporting through the ground. Uh, and Nate Spetch takes third place for
Wait, was he
Champion
the one that was
Motorsports.
El Plan?
Yes, that was
Oh
I
my
believe that was
god.
Travis Nordstrom's car.
Oh, that was so funny. I saw that. The practice. That was practice race. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Monday night, and he had spun out at turn 3 at the exit curb, and his car just started going like nose down into the ground like the Titanic, and then
And
stayed
backwards.
halfway up in the air and just started drifting to the other side of the road. I was like, because right as he started to go in, I was passing him around I was like going around the right hand side of his car. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Yeah,
But
I saw that screenshot in chat and was dying.
yeah, good fun to be had, but nice to see him keep it together and bring himself from off the podium in qualifying to the podium for the race. Division 1, I think we might be able to wrap up some standings. If I'm
Um,
just going to take a look at the overall points here.
yeah, I think my Madhouse has that locked up.
Ryan is technically not safe from Diego yet, but
No, yeah,
Ryan has 520 points in first place. Diego Fimberscasas has 419 in second. Matt Lehman has 390 in third, and then it becomes a fight through to the rest of the field, jumping 306 in 10th place. So 10th to 3rd is up for grabs, but 1st and 2nd are all but finished. Madhouse Racing Beans, I think, can lock up that team standings with, was that almost 300 points clear?
yeah.
253
The most they
points.
can get, I believe, is 232 in a race.
The most points you can
No, no,
get
no.
in one
It's
race is 211
two.
points.
Yeah, that's right. 211. Sorry.
That's a 1-2 finish with the fastest lap.
Yep. So, I mean, technically, it's not if they both don't score points, but the way
That's
that
very
Ryan E
unlikely.
drives, it's very rare.
Exactly. And I'm just going to pop over to the website here quickly to look at the hot lap leaderboards at Brands or at Mount. Why do I keep saying Brands Hatch? What's my
I
issue
think you
tonight?
want to go back to Brands Hatch, to
I
be
do.
honest.
I think that's the only British track I like. But if I go to just Division 1 here, Jeff Spangler currently has the fastest time at Mount Panorama. And where's Ryan E?
Ryan E may not have done any yet.
He has not done a hot lap yet. So he is on the hunt for the top end 2-minute 710, which is absolutely insane. 2 minutes 672.
Yeah, I don't understand where I'm 2.8 seconds slower.
Yeah, it's wild. There's like here's one for you. 5th place, okay, is David Funk, the Division 4 Jaguar driver with the Jaguar with a 2012.
Yeah.
The Jaguar?
Yep.
What?
Uh, He's been doing it all season. It's like you just kind of got to get used to it.
Okay, but that fast on a track like
No,
this?
yeah, no, I don't like it either.
Something is wrong.
I don't like it either.
It's just very, very impressive. No hate, all love. Oh, as I catch myself. Looking ahead to Bathurst, though, uh, like we've been saying, that track is very similar to Oulton in the fact that you do not get a break. You got to be on the money from flag to flag,
Yep.
and the walls are just another added challenge.
They're always lurking.
I've been encouraging people all week to go out and damage your car and then drive, or like just go out and like
Yeah.
take damage, do a long stint because it's going to happen, and you better get ready to be comfortable with it.
Yeah. The thing to learn that I've been kind of practicing is if you know you're gonna understeer into a wall, lift, because you can afford a bump or two into the wall. Just not super hard. Just lift because you lift and you lose a second is better than losing a minute and a half,
That is completely true.
if not more.
And nobody wants to be the person that's sideways at Skyline, that's for sure.
Exactly, especially if there's cars behind you.
Yeah, I did that in the practice race, or in the sprint race earlier, and I had Martin Riggs behind me, and we're just chit chatting about just different stuff. And I come over the hill, and the car goes light. I'm like, I'm spinning, spinning, spinning.
Yeah,
Sadly, you don't have that luxury in the actual race.
no, you don't. And there's several cars
Yeah,
in the race.
can't stop 40 cars that fast.
Yeah, yeah. Probably this is the toughest track, I would say. Um, not just for racing, just for A, concentration over an hour, and B, consistency.
Completely agree. The concentration is the hardest part. You
Yeah,
falter slightly, and it can make big, big issues.
yeah. It's extremely devastating. But if we go back to, I think it was season 4, we raced here last.
I believe so. That was the season finale. Or it was season
Yeah,
3.
was it season 3?
Yes. I think so. Doop, doop,
I
doop,
think you're right.
doop. Season 3.
Yep. Um, I was just kind of thinking back to that race, and um, one thing that I also note is how difficult it is to follow other cars at this track, because of how different the cars handle this track. I mean, example A, you got the Porsche where it's good around corners, but it's very, very slow in the straights. So um, it's going to be kind of a blockade for half the track, and then the other half is going to be blitzing through. I mean, you got the Audi, you got the Aston Martin that are quick in a straight line, maybe not so quick around corners. So depending on where you're at, you could come up across different cars and capabilities. You could come up against people that are not so confident in the car and track combination, or just not confident in the track. So it's going to be a lot of patience this week as well.
Completely agree. And one place you'll really, I think, will really notice a difference is on the back straight after the mountain. You're gonna see a lot of difference to setup there. Who's running
Yep.
high downforce, low downforce?
Hmm. Well, and then you're going to throw in the toe as well.
Yep.
Could pull a lot of people into, I don't remember what turn that is, 16 maybe.
I am not good with numbers.
I'm not either.
That is, jeez, that is turn 20.
20. Wow, I was way off.
Turn.
But yeah, you're gonna see a lot of, potentially a lot of overtaking spots there, especially if you get like a Porsche on Aston Martin. I know I've had that situation come up a lot. So we could see either a lot of overtakes or a lot of accidents going into there.
Yep, it's definitely gonna be the place to watch for moves because the inside curb at turn 23, that last corner, does not really leave you room to try and go for an overtake. And
Mm-mm.
in my opinion, turn 1 is hard enough to hit correct on a regular basis. I
Yeah,
don't understand why it's just a 90-degree left, but the banking and the way the curb is on the inside, it's just so tough to get the car to hook up.
yeah. So we're gonna see a lot of speed demons this week. The cars that are quick in a straight line, I feel, are going to have a massive advantage.
Yeah. The interesting thing to note though is most of the fast times are separated by sector 2. For example, Brandon Chan's fastest lap of a 2 minute point 6 versus my fastest lap of a 2 minute 2.3 are separated by 1.1 seconds in the second sector.
It's Yeah, that's wild.
So that's most of the pace gap, and I wonder how that's going to play out during the race. Like being right behind somebody, like we're talking about all this difference between how cars can take the different areas of the track.
Hmm.
Like how fast are the fast guys actually going to be able to go?
Yeah,
Because they may be pretty limited, especially if you get an early incident or take an early pit stop.
yeah, and it's also going to change because they're doing these times in practice, but just how much will they actually send it in the race to where it won't ruin their race, or the risk is much higher than the reward. So I mean, they may be doing mid to high 22 minutes. Wow, I can't talk at the moment. Mid to high 2 minute lap times, but it could just be safe and do, shoot, low 201s maybe. I mean, that's definitely what I will do and have done. But that's definitely not the winning mentality,
Yeah, this
I
track
think.
definitely, I mean, it kind of asks you to take a little bit out of your race pace just for the sake of surviving through the actual race itself.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to push that hard down the mountain every single lap, there's no way your tires can hold on to that.
Mm-mm.
So we shall see what the optimum strategy is going to be, but I think it might I think it might be just stick it out in the traffic and pit late.
I think so as well. I think it's going to be safer. That way, you're that's if you qualify in your right spot, kind of lapping around the same time as people around you, so you're not getting slowed down too much. So I think the strategy is definitely to wait it out this week.
Completely agree. But as that race ends and we look towards the final race of the season, we have one stop in between. And that's going to be the second round of our WEC Follow Along Championship here as we make our stop at Virginia International Raceway. We're looking at a field so far of 9 hypercars, 5 LMP2 cars, and 4 GTE cars. Still some room to register. I think we have 2 hypercar spots open, but plenty in the other fields. It's a 1 hour race and starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. Got a little driver's briefing as per usual before the race to go over the specifics. We do this race on Assetto Corsa, like we've mentioned before, and instead of doing the standing starts that the game forces you to do, we do a makeshift formation lap where everyone will go out and we'll sort the classes and then split them up by like a couple seconds and rolling start over the finish line and start off in groups. So kind of treat it like an actual like proper multi-class race, but a little bit of manual work. So it's a lot of fun. It doesn't get broadcast sadly, but highly recommend coming out and getting in this field. I know Bailey's jumped into an LMP2 car, and
Heck
that has
yeah.
been a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely suggest it if you're getting tired of your GT3 races. It's definitely a good change and a fun change too. So come sign up and join in on all the fun.
Yeah, and I honestly think that not 70, 60% of the fun is the pre-event practice races. Like last week was the Formula Car multi-class shenanigans, and then we just had one the other day where we did I think it's 90s or 80s GT1 cars, so the Toyota and the Nissan, and fun, but like it's just a whole different ball game. But yeah, a great switch up if you want to keep racing but not have the same sort of stress as the GT3 series. Come and hang out with us on Friday night for the WEC race, or look ahead to April 8th as the 6 hours of Hungaroring is slowly coming up on us. And by slowly, I mean, holy cow, it's already almost here.
Yep.
3 classes as per usual: gold, silver, and open. 1 to 2 drivers per team. And so that I can't confuse myself this
Yeah.
time,
Say this
no,
loud and proud.
no stint time and no maximum drive time. So,
Yes.
yes, you could drive for 6 hours straight. No, your car can't take that much gas. But yes, the game would let you do that. So, it's going to be interesting to see how people split up their pit strategies for this race as we're all only getting 4 sets of dry tires for 6 hours.
That's if it's dry.
It's going to be dry. Variable weather is variable weather.
Yeah, that's true.
SRA trademarked wet race,
Common.
but
They say wet, it never is.
never wet. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take a stab at another solo endurance here.
Yeah, I think I was gonna do a solo as well.
It seems to be quite a few entrants like that. We're up around I think 19 cars at this time,
Hmm.
so it's looking to be a whole lot of fun. Yeah, 19 cars right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams, and the other 10 drivers are solo. So it'll be interesting to see how things sort out. I mean, some of those drivers may just have the registration spot in and waiting for their teammate to register up with them. But yeah, April 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time is the driver's briefing start time, and then shortly after we get rolling with qualifying and the race. But yeah, engrave that in my brain. print it on my forehead, sticker it on the computer monitor. No stint time, no driver times.
Yes.
Can't screw that
Well,
up again.
I was gonna say you won't have to worry about it if you solo it. So
I can still find a way. Oh, I had to pit at 50 minutes, the 50-minute pit timer. Because, that's just me.
yeah, that's okay. You live and you learn.
Exactly. And if this doesn't satisfy your hunger, the SRA ESR multi-class big grid, which I've actually managed to put these in the wrong order. This is not on Friday. This is Saturday, April 4th. And this is this Friday, March the 31st at 9 p.m. The Suzuka 105-minute race with a 20-minute qualifying, 5-minute practice. We've teamed up with the folks at ESR. Um, Looking to be a pretty decent sized grid so far. I don't have the GT3 versus GT4 splits, but there's quite a good share of every car. There's only one Aston GT4. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, besides the lack of Janetta. But yeah, it's gonna be a whole bunch of fun. I'm still in between which class I'm gonna be registering in. Bailey, are you registering up for this race?
I have already registered. I am taking my baby Audi back out of the garage. I'm going to be repping the GT3s.
Beautiful. I hope that you have yourself a good race so that you can be in a good standing mentally going into the last race of Silverstone, because I'm sure it's gonna need everybody's maximum effort.
Not only maximum effort, but maximum CPU.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, with the fact that we like to put on a show, I don't think it's gonna be too dark, but still, the way it gets at the end of the races, it'll be stressing some computers, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely it's gonna be a tough one. So
No doubt.
we'll be looking forward to it.
Any any special things go on while you were away in Italy? Go to any racetracks, Bailey?
No, I unfortunately was not able to. I went to the southern side of Italy, as where all the tracks are more up north. Unfortunately, I wanted to, but didn't have enough time. Um, and I missed the F1 race. I think they go to Imola in 3 weeks, I believe, 2 3 weeks. It's right after because they go to Australia next week, and then I believe Imola is after that.
May 21st. So we are still
Oh, I missed it
over a
by two
month out.
months. Never mind.
Close but no cigar, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna clip that, cut that out.
It's in like 2 weeks. May
2 weeks.
25th.
2 months. Sorry.
Close enough. You got the two in there.
I thought Imola was a lot earlier than that.
That's okay. And I mean, like the schedule this year, it's pretty weird. Like there's a whole lot of breaks. It's
Yeah.
like on for a week, off for two, on for two, off for three.
Well, we have that big 3 week break early, only because of the China cancellation.
Right.
So, kind of get like a little early break early of the season, and then do another chunk of hard work, and then you get another what's that summer break? I think they call it,
Yeah.
and then it's a grind to the end.
The big grind. But
Yep.
even though it's only early, it looks like the spice is already getting going. The Max vs Checo debacle is already beginning.
Yes.
As once again, Max just kind of pushed himself to give a little bit of a slap, taking away the fastest lap right at the end of the race, and Checo once again voicing his displeasure with their choice of strategy calls.
Yeah. And I don't know if you watched the post race interviews at all after the race
I
when
did not.
Jensen asked Checo or says something to Checo about Max getting the fastest lap on the last lap when he was told not to, and Checo was, let's say, surprised.
Wow, that's yeah. I did not watch the post race interviews, sadly, but yeah. I mean, like, it's early. You're gonna win the races. You're gonna take the pole positions, Max. Let
Yeah,
let the guy have the point.
Yeah. I mean, you gave him a 14 position cushion still, but
Exactly.
safety car fell into his hands a bit.
Safety car with the like capital lowercase SpongeBob hands on the hips meme.
Yeah.
Because
But
Lance Stroll parks his car 90% of the way down an exit road, and you need a safety car.
yeah, you know what they say, the green Red Bulls.
Yeah, green Red Bulls.
Green Red Bulls.
I saw this one meme, and it's like those like F1 voiceover things, and it's Christian. And he's like, oh no, this car is unsafe. We need a safety car. And it flips to a picture of Michael Massey, and he's like, yes, Chrissy Wissy, anything for you, my little lover.
Chrissy Wissy.
Safety car. It's just
Oh
like Jesus
gosh.
Christ.
Yeah, those are so funny.
The same
Cause that
thing when Alonso got the good start. He's like, I'm sure we can find something to penalize him on.
yeah, yeah, the whole Fernando Alonso deal was
I mean, did you see the picture looking down the grid? There was him and two cars down the grid behind him that were also just as far out of position.
it wasn't even that, it was the post race penalty they gave him for the Jackman acts like just slightly touching the car. And
Oh
then they
my
waited
lord.
34 laps to give it to him.
Yep. And like
Yeah.
they got lucky on a technicality,
I agree.
but I I I don't know. Like, see, this is part of where I guess I don't understand, but if you touch the car, the timer should reset. Not just like, oh, your pit stop's invalid now. Fucking incorrect serving your penalty. You go like 3 seconds and then you touch the car early, but like you as a team recognize you touched the car early, like the jackman touches the back.
Hmm.
The 5 seconds should just count from there.
Or just keep the 5 second penalty and then your next pit stop you serve it. Or if you don't serve it, you still just get the 5 seconds.
Yeah, I guess like keeping it on and just saying like you didn't clear it.
Yeah, I mean you already lost. You sat there for 5 seconds. The Jackman didn't touched it. So I mean you already lost 5 seconds. So I mean here's another 5 seconds for not following directions.
Yeah,
So I mean realistically if that happened, that ultimately are given a 10 second by having to serve it again.
that's true. But still bullshit that they took that long to assess the penalty, and at no point in the race was it like under review
Yeah,
or being investigated. It was only at the end when someone said that something was going on.
yeah. And then they said, "Oh no, we'll give it back."
Yeah, it's because they realized that giving him the penalty put a Mercedes on the podium.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh shit, oh shit."
But yeah, I see you've got Lewis Hamilton possibly leaving Merck here, and
Yeah,
that's not
it's
gonna
a meme.
happen.
It's a meme. I've been seeing it all over Facebook, all over Twitter that
Oh, as have
L-
I.
Lewis is leaving because the car's shit, and then he's gonna go retire at Ferrari.
Do you
Because
really think Ferrari's gonna want that whiny bastard on their team?
I don't think anybody does. Well, I don't. That's probably false, but
Gunther will want him.
Charles is leaving in the next 2 years,
Yeah, but they got enough high quality youngsters. They'll want to put one of them in the seat instead.
probably. Plus, who knows how long Lewis is going to be around for?
Yeah, I mean, I give him this season.
I say three more. He's gonna. I think he's gonna race to what Kimmy raced to at 41, and then I don't know what else after that. But yeah, I think a couple more years still.
I I don't know. It's interesting. Like, why would you want to keep racing but just keep being this unhappy all the time? Like, you're clearly not pleased.
Yeah.
If you're that committed to developing a Formula One car, just work for the fucking team.
Well, that and he's developed that Mercedes already to. I. He says that this Red Bull car is the best ever, but I think that W10, I think W12 maybe W11. It was one of those. The W whatever he won in 2020. That car was, I think, by by far one of the best F1 cars ever.
Yeah, that car was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
The Rosberg year Mercedes was also pretty competitive.
2016, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like to think, like I if I put myself in his shoes, I don't. They're definitely not building the car around him, and if
Mm-mm.
they are, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
So like, why? Like I don't know. Just
Yeah.
drive.
I personally think. I mean, and it's clear that George Russell is way more flexible and adaptable than Lewis is at this moment of their careers,
100%.
and it shows on the track and in results. So I mean, I hate to say it, but I think it's like Lewis was great and all, but like, what's he doing for you now? I think the 2021 battle just drained him so much that he's not going to be the same.
Yeah, I can see that too. He's just at the end of his career. He's still got some fire in the tank,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not burning as strong as it was. His passion's there, his desire's there, but his skill is there. But like you said, his adaptability. Like he had a car that was molded to him,
Yep.
and now the car is not, and he can't handle it.
Mm-mm.
He can handle it, but it's a bumpy ride the whole way.
Yep.
So
And he's whining the entire race, and
yeah,
yeah, it's it
look
it
at
happens.
look at Charles. That car has supposed to be built around him for so long, and he hasn't had one that's worked properly yet, and he doesn't complain as hard.
No, he just crashes.
Go wipe your tears with your millions of dollars,
Yeah,
and
must be a
just
hard life.
let George develop the car.
Yeah, yeah. Go play with the Broncos or something.
Exactly, exactly. Go hang out with Serena Williams.
But the one last thing that I did note was another tough one for McLaren.
Yeah, really unfortunate. I mean, Piastri showing he's no slouch with the strong qualifying position, but
Yeah,
also showed he's a rookie by causing, I think, the biggest front wing damage I've seen since these new era cars has gone on. That looked very like 2021 front wing kind of blow up,
yeah.
which was interesting. But I mean, yeah, I mean you got to get used to it. Like those cars are so much bigger, and the wheel arches and all that shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, even the lap one situation where him and Alcon came together, and the debris that came off of his car hit Lando's car. Just what are the odds?
Yeah, that was just like, come on.
Yeah, can't catch a break.
No. And it's a shame. I mean, the McLaren looked really not good off the start, and then Jeddah it showed that it was kind of there. So it's not like completely a loss. I'm hoping they have a better Australia because like they should be there as a team. Like they missed their marks, but like they should not be this in the bag.
No, and I think what happened with Bahrain, Lando, the issue with not keeping pressure, and then Oscar's DNF. I don't think they've had a true show of what they can do. I think it's just been unfortunate events after unfortunate events, and hopefully soon that won't be the case.
Yeah, sadly agreed there. But just searching for a tweet that I had shared a little bit ago and forgot. McLaren has been cleaning house
I did see that.
as James Key steps down as their technical director, and David Sanchez, who was joined. David Sanchez now joins from Ferrari as the new technical director. So
Hmm.
they're inheriting some bad strategy and losing a talented individual in James Key.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see what's going on over there. They're doing like they got all the new stuff going on with the new wind tunnel. They got all this new staffing stuff going on. The Indy program, the cars are just fucking crashing.
Yes. Excuse
But
me. I did see that as well.
but I don't know. I mean, fingers are crossed. Like they've been, they're a good brand, and they're a good team. They got a good aura about them, and fucking hope they can sort this out.
Yeah, I mean they got a lot of races left, so
Exactly.
21 to be exact.
21. 9 plus
21,
10.
21.
Yeah, exactly. 21 races left. And Australia this weekend should be a good one.
Yes. Is it this weekend or next weekend? Well,
Uh,
technically, when this comes out, it'll be this coming weekend. So
yeah, it'll be the
yes,
first weekend of April.
yes. There
S-
was no race today, but yeah,
exactly.
I love Australia.
Yeah, it's a really fun track. I really like the changes that they made as well last
Mm,
year. Really opened that track up a lot.
yes. Also, not a fan of it being at 2 a.m. though, but
Oh, what? I forgot about that. Hold on. What's my time difference?
yeah, that's I couldn't tell the last time I've watched
Oh, 1
an
o'clock in the morning.
Australia. Yeah, haven't watched an Australia race live in several years.
Holy cow, man.
Yeah. So I mean, the
Pr-
last 2, 3 years, I mean, we've done a like a drinking night or something like that
mm-hmm.
because it's Saturday night into Sunday morning, so a lot of us stay up and game and drink, and it's a great time.
Sounds like it.
I
Well,
usually don't participate because I value my sleep,
fair
and
enough.
just will watch it the next day.
Fair. I'm a degenerate and will force myself to stay up. So Thursday at 5:50, you'll catch me watching F3 practice all the way through until 3 o'clock in the morning when F2 quali ends.
Hard pass. As fun as that sounds, hard pass.
I very like I don't know this with it coming on like only one weekend here and there, and like some days I do have to miss it and can't watch any of it. Like I try and soak in as much as I can.
Yeah,
Just make a nice big day out of it.
but yeah,
Well, it's good to have you back. It's nice to go over everything, and
yeah,
I think it's time to go get ready for another sprint series race.
yeah. Another Mount Pano debacle. So
Well, from us over here, it's been a whole bunch of fun, and we'll see you on the other side of the mountain.
love you. Bye.